Do we have to smile? It's our first episode. I like to call it Let's Denim. Let's Denim. Like we touch denim, we talk about denim, we find a solution about denim every day in the industry. That's my daily life, and that's our guest today, CresPatrick's every daily thoughts and prayers and works and so basically
It's all consuming.
yes. So welcome to our Denim cast. And Patrick, welcome to LA. Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back here.
Yeah, so let's talk about like how to start your own brand together
Yeah.
today. So
Yeah.
how did you come up with your brand story, or what made you think about you wanted to do your own brand?
Yeah. Man. It's a big question, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, I know how I started. A brand was always something that I desired to do. But it was kind of scary at first.
Yeah.
Because I remember I went to I went to fashion school. I went to FITM downtown LA. And when I got accepted, they wanted me to do the fashion design program. But they're like, you can also choose the product development program. But they were like, we see the potential in you. We think you would be well suited to do the fashion design program. I chose to do the product development program because I was a little scared, a little intimidated of all the work. And then that kind of bled over into, once I started working in the industry, the thought of doing my own brand was really intimidating. So how it started was a lot with you. I mean, for my story starts a lot of my creative design journey, finding my own voice, my own perspective, my confidence came with working with you. You taught me a lot about denim, especially. When I started working with you, I didn't really know much about denim. And you taught me how diverse the fabric is. I think to a lot of people, it's very one-dimensional. But you showed me all the different ways that you can translate feelings, translate words, translate stories through this singular fabric. And so I fell in love with it, and it came through working with you at the brand we were working at. And I started to discover those shrink blankets, those wash tests. You introduced me to that, and just kind of understanding the process of making denim, and that is part of the process of making denim. And for the brand at One Denim that we were working for, you were utilizing those shrink blankets for accessories, like let's make hats out of these scrap fabrics, let's make pillowcases and bags. And then so a lot of those things were laying around, and so it was like, oh, how about I try for the first time to make my own garment. And I was like, these textiles, these scrap denim is here, and I can take a couple of these and just kind of practice. And I was like, these are beautiful fabrics. I had fallen in love with denim, and so I was like, let me just start here and see what I can make. So first thing I made was a denim. Well, I was calling it kimono, but working with you, a Korean, was it hanbok?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. First thing I made, it was patchwork, and I was really proud of it. I had some knowledge from school, learning how to pattern make, and working with you teaching me how to make patterns, working on my brand with me, because I did actually have that brand before this one, La Liga.
Yeah.
And you were helping me with that. And so a big part of me starting my brand was having confidence through kind of a mentor like you. So that really gave me confidence to start it. And, it really caused me to look within myself and see, oh, there's a lot of stories I want to tell. There's a lot of inspiration I was finding, especially with like my relationship with God. Like there's a lot of stories he put in me, and a lot of things I experienced in life because of him. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to tell those stories through clothing. And so that artistic side of me was really activated. And I think a lot of us have artistic ideas, but we don't really know how to get them out. And I think as designers, as artists, I think the main thing we want to be is master communicators. So we want to master our art, master our medium, so we can best communicate what we want to say through what we're making. And so that just really resonated with me in just wanting to start a brand. It was like, I really want to have narrative-driven clothing, right? Narrative-driven collections and pieces. And, you know, I want it to be more than just clothes. I mean, I think everyone loves clothes. We all love clothes, and people want to connect with it. And so I was like, man, I want to create something for people to connect on a deeper level. So I think that was just like the heart behind it, and just like, okay, like, let me start by making one thing, and now a couple pieces, and just like kind of one by one. That's how I started, and that's why I wanted to start.
Thank you for sharing all the story, and I'm really thankful that I could, you know, help a little bit, someone that, you know, passionate and, you know, trying the best of what they can do. But when I first met you, I didn't, you know, you showed me your sketches, and, you know, I feel like you had something, you know, and I think that was God's insight. But I asked you to let's work together for this project, Denim Brand project. And I was really, I also taught myself during, you know, we practice all the pattern making and sewing and all the industrial language and about denim that I learned back then over 10 years. That was, I think that we met like 2014, somewhere around there, end of 2014. So I wanted to share all of my experience in denim to pour to you. Like, you know, I think God gave me that heart towards, but I wanted to help more than, you know, each individuals has their own, you know, gift, creativities, and, you know, that there's no answer for that. But I wanted to add on a little bit of, you know, if you're a designer, if you're driven for design or brand, I wanted you guys to be able to create your own clothing and sew up and make the pattern in with your hand, so you can call yourself designer. So I wanted to help you guys to, you know, go through that step, and then creativity is, you know, fun stuff that you could achieve later on. So that's what I felt. And, you know, I during those time I was really happy and thankful that we could be able to create a brand for someone, you know, that that's been in the industry for a long time, manufacturing garment, but a gift that we got, and we could give someone with our creativity and talents. That was awesome experience. So I forgot to mention his brand name until now. So CresPatrick had this amazing, very meaningful brand name called CresPatrick. So Patrick, if you can explain how you got that name. So can you tell us a little bit of story?
The brand is called CresPatrick. It's my grandfather's names. I'm named after both of my grandfathers. My full first name is CresPatrick, and my parents kind of Americanized their names and named me after both of them. So when I was starting this brand, I didn't know much about my grandfathers. They both passed away before I was born. I was actually born on the death day of my grandfather, Patricio. That's why they wanted to name me after them. But I grew curious about them as I got older, and I realized through talking with my parents that they both really loved clothing and they really cared about how they presented themselves. Like my grandfather Patricio was the one that taught my mom how to iron her clothes, and this is how you take care of them, and this is how you present yourself. And my grandfather Crescente was, you know, in the Filipino army, so he was very, very put together, made sure he was always very very neat and tidy in how he presented himself. And they really cared about their clothes. And so legacy is something of importance to me, and the legacy that we leave, whether it's with family through children, or if it's with, you know, our friends and family that we leave here on earth, and just what we do in this world is important. So I wanted to continue their legacy through the brand, so I decided to name it after my grandfather's. Yeah.
Crescente Patricio.
Yeah.
There's gonna be upcoming a new emerging, very known brand in the near future. So let's talk about more details that we can give tips and advice for those upcoming designers and emerging brand owners, creatives, how they could start their own brand. And I think, first of all, you have to have love and passion to what you're gonna produce and as a product, right? I always think, for me, this denim or clothing fashion pieces are not only a product to exchange with money. You know, I've always called my design, back in the days when I designed for a company or brand, I call them baby. Those are my baby, because I wanted them to adapt to their new parents, you know, and live a good long life, and let them enjoy together and make some stories, you know. So the beauty of denim especially is, you know, denim material are weaved and finished to fit to your own body. Like, it cracks into your body once you wear it, like for a few months or years. So that's the beauty about denim construction. And then we apply some details, designs, and washing to achieve some looks. So yeah, I think you have to first love and get a full passion of what you're gonna do and what you're gonna create. And yeah, so what do you think about that that side?
Yeah, I mean, I think passion and love is very important for anything you do, especially if it's something creative. And you know, I think you have to love it. I mean, I think there's I think there's brands, and I think there's companies, both that sell clothing.
Yes.
There's people who start clothing companies with the sole purpose of just making money, which is fine, respectful. I mean, at the end of the day, we do all want to make money.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a blessing to be able to, you know, for our creativity to be able to help support us live and take care of our families and things like that. But then there's also, I think, people who create brands who care a lot more about what they're making, and that they have a certain perspective, and they have a story to tell or ideas that they want to put out in the world. And of course, they do care about money, but it's not the sole purpose. It's not the driving force behind what they do. And I think those are brands.
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that people really resonate with, you know. Something like, you know, Zara, H&M, like, you know, I'm not hating on those, but
we
like
respect. We purchase,
you know,
from them, but
I mean, big companies,
Yeah.
big companies, but their sole purpose is just to make money. They're not. It's not something that I don't think people are like, oh, I love it, I resonate with those companies so much. Like, you know, I see myself in it.
Yeah.
But you know, but people still enjoy it. There's a purpose for it.
I'm
But
sure
then-
those designers who work for those companies,
Yeah.
they're like us. They have passion and love to
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
create.
for
But
sure.
those companies are very it's business and
Yeah.
commercialized business.
it's
But
definitely the business.
you know, which we go and purchase, and you know, I buy clothes for my kids at Zara, and you
Yeah.
know, yeah, we respect. But yeah, the differentiate within brands and company, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good.
But then you take something like, you know, we both really enjoy that brand, the Japanese brand Capital,
Mm-hmm.
the denim brand. Such a unique perspective. And it's something that people really like emotionally, like it captivates people. And they're like, wow, like I really resonate with this brand.
Yeah.
And just like the way they do denim, because they do it so different
Yes.
than anybody else.
They have legacy.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
legacy in that.
Yes.
Like that brand will live on. Well, I know the owner passed away, I think last year. So, you know, and it'll live on. So something like that, like if you want to create something like that, then it has to be from a
Yeah.
place of love and passion.
Yes, and also another tip and advice is you must, before you start your own brand or even making samples, I highly encourage you to experience your garment, your product. Let's say if you like denim jeans, I highly encourage you to wear them every day, feel them over months before you start making your own samples, because the more you know about your product is the more you will get into success route and save money up front, because the developing samples and pattern making and testing wash and all of that, it takes a lot of money and cost. So before you experience that, I myself started with Unsew. Back in the days, the best fit that I had was called 575. They had amazing fit for me, so I unsew all that and I knock off the pattern myself. That, you know, I'm still keeping that. So that was my beginning, and I start, you know, trying to sew it and make the line for pattern. So I want you to, before you come into industrial people to team up with, I want you to experience your, you know, your garment, your product.
That's good.
What was your experience about those?
Yeah, a lot of the same. It's, you know, really figuring out, you know, what you like, what you want your product to feel like, to fit like. And a lot of times it's our references are pieces that are already out there. Like you said, you had that favorite pair of jeans. I know Yoji Yamamoto has a quote. He says, copy, copy, copy until you find yourself. And a lot of times it's, you know, at first it's like we're copying what we've already seen. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're first starting out. Some people like to think like, oh, I can't do that. I need to do everything 100% original. And yeah, that's the goal, but originality takes time.
Yeah.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
It's a discipline. Creativity is a discipline.
Yes.
So, you know, I encourage people to do just the same. Like if you have something that you love, take it apart, which can be hard because you love the piece.
Yeah.
But to study it and see how it's made, see the little differences. There's slight angles in like a pant, out seam. It's not all the time very straight. Sometimes there's like some curves in it at certain places for the knee placement or hip or thigh. And study those things. Be very aware of how a garment feels on your body, how it feels on your shoulders, how it feels around your knees, the inseam length. So the little details, the very, very little things are what make up the big things.
Yeah.
So you have to look micro to appreciate the macro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, when I started designing denim back in early 2000, it was very popular, the back pocket, embroidery design, embellishments. So I'm sorry to my wife right now, but back then I was single the only my focus was looking at their butt area, like to look at the design, you know. So I was very passionate of what I do, but every day I think over hundreds pants in that focus, I was looking at it. But because of that, maybe, I mean, other than, you know, prior, like God's mercy and grace, I've get whatever design I did applied to my design. In the back pocket, I got reorders and reorders. We were Urban Outfitter, Nordstrom, back in the days. So I sold like tens, thousands pieces back in the days.
Yeah.
So focus in what you try to do. And also another tip and advice is try to visit. Back in the days when I was designing, I went to my favorite shops and stores where my target consumer is coming and visit. I went there every day. Every day, stay there for hours and see their route, like what are they're grabbing like attention just by display. And after they fit it and after they come out the fitting room, I see their face and emotion and all that, and then end up going to the cashier and pay their own money from the pocket. You gotta study that so you can make something that could sell, not only hanging in the gallery. Do not make anything hang on the gallery. You know, try to make the product so you can maintain your business going. So selling product. So I highly recommend.
Yeah.
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 So,
that's good.
and also like if you have chance, go out there and make some sample, you know, after all this process, make some sample and go out to the marketplace, you know, not for the flea market, but like marketplace here and there, and try to sell directly to the consumer, and you talk with them and have them feel it and wear it. Bring portable fitting room and have them change and have them feel your product. So before you make the massive bulk production, so you get to know what's needed, what's missing on your product and garment. So that's very highly, you know, recommend and suggest tip and advice.
Definitely.
You've been to many marketplace. How was your experience, you know, communicating, connecting with consumer? Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
From when I do like pop-ups or events.
Yes.
I mean, those have always been the best like selling situations for myself and my brand. You know, of course, e-commerce it's the present, platform, it's the future. It's, you know, that's how most people are shopping, but you can't beat in person.
You got to understand.
Because especially for new brands, it can be difficult starting off like e-com because, you know, you're an unknown brand. People don't know it. You haven't built that trust yet. So it's a little hard to gain momentum of selling online. So, but a good way to do that to get customers is to do in-person pop-ups, or if you're doing wholesale, if it can get into boutiques, so people can interact with the product. Because every time I've gotten to interact with customers and tell them about the pieces, tell them the inspiration behind it, tell them what drove me to design it the way I did, and the functionality behind it, and to tell them about the fabric, that this is upcycled fabric. Because I love to design it in a way where it doesn't seem like the typical upcycling, like a lot of patchwork stuff. You know, we utilize that on some stuff like these many raw pants, but you know, I like for it to be something they find out later. Like, oh, I want people to fall in love with the design first, and then they find out, oh, these are upcycled materials. Makes it even better.
Can you stand up and show them a little bit of this pants?
These are
many raw.
Many raw.
I love this
pants. So it's like 7 different raw denim, just kind of pieced together. I've been wearing these for like a year and a half, so they've been broken in, getting some whiskering and, you know, some of the honeycombs on the back. So
check out his product on your website,
Cpatricio.com.
CPatricio.com.
We'll link it. It'll be linked.
Yes.
But Yeah, anytime we get to interact with customers, we sell so much more. You know, even though the price point is higher, you know, it's a niche brand for a niche customer. But when we find those customers and they get to hear it and they try it on and they feel it, it's, you know, it can't be beat.
Yeah, I had I had great experiences when I was selling at trade show back in the days, Magic Project, Coterie. I sold the most, more than the salesperson, because you know I pull out my heart and you know passion, and they buy those, you know, value.
Yeah.
So they purchase and test orders. So that's very neat and important.
Yeah.
I do have few more tips and advice left.
Share.
So financial support.
Oh man.
Financial support, and also meet the good team, which is, you know, which will be your manufacturer or development center like us. So please do not get into this game if you don't have enough of savings or financial support. Many people came to me and willing to do their 1 or 2 pieces for their brand and for social media sales, and I respect them, but I because I care for them, I tell them no, you're not ready, because denim especially, it's hardcore. It's if you don't know about denim, if you're not well prepared, it could be monster for you. I've seen many brands, they've spent so much money to prepare all the samples and develop all the trims and labels, and went to the show and they end up closed down. I remember after one New York customer, after spending $150,000 and went to project show, and they got orders from Nordstrom and all that, but they didn't have backup funds to produce those quantities. Not only that, you know, to develop one piece of denim jeans, you would have to do like a few times of fitting because of, you know, the beauty for the washing and shrinkage and all that. You have to do adjustments, so that'll take you like few grands to make the, you know, close to perfect fit, you know, for your production ready. So do not jump into this industry lightly. Yes, we know we are here to support you, and we know what we're doing, and because of this mentality, I could say no, and I've seen many successes of who we helped. Now they're in success route, and they don't lose money, they don't close down. I highly ask to not jump in easy, or do not think this is easy or simple. No, it's not. So you have to be serious, you have to be well prepared, and if you're a believer, pray enough before you jump in. So
Amen.
yeah, so tell us about a little bit of your experience and struggles, or
Yeah.
how did you maintain, and so yeah, please
Yeah.
give us a little advice.
Yeah, I mean, the financial part, which is the business part, has been the hardest part for me. Just because I'm not naturally driven to the business side of things. It's not what motivates me. So it's the hardest thing for me to just to will myself to keep up with it. And then, yeah, having a brand is expensive, especially if you're wanting to scale, if you're wanting to grow it. You know, I started off just making everything myself, just one piece at a time, and it's great. And I still have that side of my business as well, creating one pieces. But knowing I wanted to scale, it takes investment. I suggest to be self-funded for as long as you can. If you can be self-funded for the whole life of your business, then that's ideal. You know, if you have savings that you've saved up for this, or, you know, family and friends can be a great route if that is something, to look into. If you have family that can allow you to borrow money, or, if they want to invest in you, or just, the best situation is someone just gives you money. That would be amazing for anybody. But also there's bank loans that you can go into. There's a lot of great banks who offer great loans at great rates, and give you just kind of a great deal on how to pay that back. And there's a lot of banks that do want to work with small businesses and new brands and entrepreneurs. You do have to have a business plan. So that's something that you need to familiarize with, is how to make a business plan, or work with someone who knows how to do that, and they can help you build your own business plan. But in order to get a loan, you have to have a business plan. And so that's something I've worked on. That's something I'm actually currently doing right now. I'm working with someone who is helping me finalize my business plan to get the loan that we need to continue this brand, for it to grow. So know the financial size, know how much everything costs, especially like I work with Christian here getting my stuff produced, and just, we're needing to go over the cost of samples, the cost of how much all these things are going to, what it's going to take to financially, move this along, is just knowing every single number, knowing where every cent is going. Have a budget. If you have, say, you start your brand with $10,000, have a place for every single dollar, budget it out. You have this money going into sampling, this money into production, this money into marketing. Marketing is very important. Social media ads is kind of the easiest route for marketing, and it's, proven to be very successful for a lot of brands. So that's the easiest route, especially if you're wanting to be a direct to consumer brand. But just be on top of the finances. That's something I wish I practiced and leaned into more in the beginning, and had that structure, that financial business structure of the brand set up along with my creativity. But that will just set you up for success, especially with working with like manufacturing partners and any partners that you have.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, those are must prepared area that you want to consider deeply. And lastly, meet the right team for you to support, produce and develop all these products. So at Denim Campus, we help small customers, emerging designers to start up, help them produce like 50 pieces, 100 pieces. But we do work together with the top denim manufacturer out there, who's doing the main brands. They're all my friends, and if it's bigger quantity, I help them shake hands together and walk through together. So if you have any questions, contact us, and we're here to help you. But before all that, all the advice and tips that we've suggested today, please do, and then come over and we walk together, and we'll guide you. We'll do our best to support. So yeah, we're Denim Campus. This is Denimcast. This is a podcast for Let's Denim, and this was my first audience. My brother CresPatrick, and I'm very thankful, and I'm wearing his jacket, the one he actually hands-on made, and I'm really thankful for him.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see a great future together. So yeah, stay tuned for his upcoming Man and Woman show on July.
Yeah.
In New York. Yeah, and he's gonna post all the social media and guideline to how to visit or look up his new product that we're developing right now on cpatricio.com.
Yeah.
So please cheer him up and pray and support, and let's denim. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, David, for all the media equipments and materials. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.